There's some smear campaigns that all put out this narrative that campus organizing is actually, part of Hamas's propaganda arm. So student organizations, student activists are actually part of this, Hamas's international propaganda arm. And therefore, these student groups and those who support them in the US are liable for material support to terrorism. So it's, again, bananas, to use non-legal terminology theory. It's meritless, to use more legal terminology. We've seen it be used in the past, particularly against Muslim organizations. Criminal cases that have been brought against the Holy Land Five and many other people who are still serving sentences. And what I'm worrying is that under a Trump DOJ, we'll see the sort of expansion of that. It hasn't yet happened. The Biden administration had designated as especially designated global terrorist under the provisions that we heard about earlier, AIPA, a Palestinian advocacy organization called Samidoun had designated them. And so that might be an indicator of a place where we may see, efforts to kind of expand, because what happens is you first designate groups and then, there's 501c3 implications, but there's also possible criminal implications. And the risk profile looks really differently from organization to organization, right? Your risk profile, if you're sending money to Gaza, looks very different from your risk profile if you're organizing on campuses, is very different from if you're the think tank doing policy briefings. So UNRWA USA, our client, is a donor to UNRWA. Like they're basically fundraising in the US. They have donors to UNRWA USA that then goes to their, resources go to UNRWA. So they certainly are trying to go after what they talk about as the money flows.
And some of our nonprofits that we're speaking of now is a major concern of material support for foreign terrorist organizations. Black Lives Matter didn't get so implicated in that because there were no foreign overseas operations going on, right? So that was a huge distinction there. And I think for the most part, what we learn is in those cases, if your sources in advocacy are somewhat focused more locally, nationally, you may not get implicated as much or caught up, so to speak, in these situations. There's no really counterpart for domestic terrorism support as it is for this FTO and bringing in the material support. I think a little bit more research on how to do that. I think that's what we're doing now, is trying to find the remedies and pathways through other nonprofit organizations that have encountered this situation, especially for foreign terrorists or donating internationally, I should say, on that part. That we can continue to move forward in donating overseas and helping our overseas brothers and sisters with funding without these repercussions.